Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. Now we're going to be talking about Chucky episode 3 today. I've got my co-hosts Chucky and Tiffany right here with me, so let's get to it, shall we? Following on from the tease last episode that Jake might indeed be coming around to Chucky's unique way of thinking, we continue on from their discussion. In their discussion, Jake asks Chucky how he became a killer, and we see another flashback to Charles Lee Ray's childhood. In this flashback, he savagely beats a piñata, nicely foreshadowing his predilection for violence in later years. Also at the start of this episode, we have another unique logo of the Chucky logo coming up at the start. This time it's made up of tools. I really like that every single week they do a different variation on the logo. Gives you something else to look out for at the start of each episode. Devon's mum continues to investigate Jake and interrogates his teacher. The teacher then arranges a meeting between Lexi's parents and Jake's new guardians. When the teacher tells Jake about this, his phone is getting messages and it really builds up the tension of the scene. She's pestering him and his phone just keeps on beeping. We learn that the phone is giving Jake live updates of Lexi's whereabouts, and unbeknownst to Lexi, Jake chases her through the woods only to mistake Junior for Lexi. Junior is scared by Jake, calls him a freak and runs off. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't act more terrified given that Jake ran at him brandishing a knife, but whatever, this is a horror piece of entertainment, so we have to suspend disbelief now and again. We later discovered that Junior was in fact borrowing Lexi's phone, which is why Jake thought he was in fact Lexi. Confusing, I know. Junior tries to encourage Lexi to apologise to Jake, but she is not really convinced. Lexi's sister Caroline has a temper tantrum and demands to see Chucky. Jake tests out some different weapons, mostly tools, hence the title sequence, to discover which weapon he might prefer to do his killing with. Lexi finds him and tries to apologise for her distasteful costume, but it's quite an insincere, backhanded and selfish apology, and it makes her even more hateable, which I just love. She asks to borrow Chucky to satiate her sister Caroline, but Jake refuses. However, Chucky convinces Jake to take him to Lexi's house so that he can do the killing, because Jake still doesn't quite have the stomach for it. So Jake brings him to Lexi's house, and she plays with Chucky. This episode is called I Like to Be Hugged, which is both a reference to the Good Guy Doll's stock phrases and also a reference to Caroline's intimacy issues, which is the reason that her parents think that Chucky will be good for Caroline. Devon's mum, the detective, discourages Devon from hanging out with Jake, but Devon defends him and insists that he's innocent. In the background, we also see the Zodiac Killer symbol on Devon's pinboard, which is a nice little detail. Lexi has a little get-together with her friends while her parents are out. Her parents are not particularly receptive when they're confronted by the teachers. I appreciate the consistency of the characters here within the show. Lexi's mother seems to be just as selfish and self-absorbed as her daughter. Equally, Lexi's dad seems shy and easily dominated by the mother, which explains why Lexi treats Junior in a similarly imperious way. She has learned how to treat people based on how her mother acts. The theme of family and familial expectation is strong throughout this whole episode, in fact. Jake visits his parents' graves and apologises to his father for not being the person that he wanted him to be. Later on in the episode, when Caroline can't sleep, she asks Lexi to sing her to sleep, and Lexi sings the Blue Oyster Cult classic Don't Fear the Reaper, which given her vacuous bubblegum pop exterior is kind of surprising that she even knows this song, but whatever, it makes for a cool and creepy moment. We also get the best moment of the episode in this particular scene. There's a moment where Chucky is tucked in so tightly, snug as a bug, as they put it, that he has to use his knife to escape the bedclothes. It's a really funny little moment where he's just struggling away and then just cuts himself loose, and it's very entertaining. Now, towards the end of the episode, there is a silent disco that happens, and I really enjoyed this particular scene. Being a DJ as a career has meant that I've played a few silent discos. I hate them personally. I much prefer to play music loud through speakers rather than have everyone bopping around with headphones on. But I really enjoyed this little silent disco scene. So during this particular silent disco scene, the bully Oliver from the last episode gets killed, which keeps the kill count to at least one victim per episode, which is good. I always really appreciate that consistency. When you're watching a horror TV show, just like Ash vs Evil Dead, you want there to be at least one killing, right? That's the bare minimum you can expect. We end the present day continuity on a cliffhanger as well. Lexi smokes a joint in the room upstairs and Chucky attacks her with a knife. The joint is kind of realistic compared to most screen spliffs. It looks like an actual joint and crackles and burns a lot more realistically. Don't ask me how I know that. But in a panic, she drops the joint and the house catches fire. The silent disco kids are completely unaware that there's a fire going on around them, which is, again, hilarious. But really enjoyed this particular scene. It was just a lot of fun, and it's good to see Oliver finally get his as well, because he's consistently been a dick throughout the show, so it's nice to see his life get ended in the way that it did. But the episode did not end there. We had one more flashback sequence, and it was a real doozy. So in this final flashback sequence, we see a young Charles Lee Ray and his family, and his father is killed by a home intruder. And when young Charles and his mother run up upstairs, they go and hide in a closet. Now, the way that this scene is filmed is very similar to the iconic scene in Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis is hiding from Michael Myers, and I really appreciated that little nod to classic horror cinema. Much to my surprise, though, once the killer discovers Chucky in the closet, he finds that the young Charles has killed his mother, and the home intruder is very happy about this and lets young Charles go. So we have finally seen Chucky's first kill. It's really fun, this whole episode, because the entire narrative is about the methodology of killing and what it's like to initially take a life. And it's really cool to finally see Chucky's first kill and the revelation that it was actually his mother. It's kind of crazy. So that was my review for episode 3 of Chucky. I hope you've checked out my reviews for episodes 1 and 2. You can find them elsewhere on the channel. It's time now to open up the next door in the Halloween countdown calendar. Right, let's get these two precious babies out the way and we can see what's inside the countdown calendar today. Not many days left now, so I'm excited to see who remains. We've still got to open door 12 and then there's door 13 is 2 doors. So we've got 3 more to go basically. So let's see what's behind door number 12, shall we? So, what's behind door number 12? Let's find out, shall we? Let's get into this here. What have we got? Who is it going to be? If this is your first time watching any videos on my channel, then make sure you go and check out some more videos to find out what this is all about, this little countdown calendar. So, looks like another Pennywise the Clown. This one is holding a balloon, which is fantastic. I'm always happy to have more Pennywise in my collection. I have a ridiculous amount of Pennywise the Clown stuff, like a whole shelving unit that's just dedicated to this killer clown, so I'm looking forward to finding space for this little guy somewhere on there. Thank you so much for watching this video on Chucky episode 3 and the little unboxing at the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and know that I appreciate and love you. Oh hey, you found me at the end of the video. Thank you so much for sticking around. So this channel is still in its infancy at the moment, but please do like and subscribe for more content, and you should be able to see some other videos floating around me and also some sort of subscribe orb as well. That should all be floating around my head, so have a click and check out some of the other content on the channel. Thanks again so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.